I'm just out there, you know. I mean, if you visualize a flat brim, you know, rap music, tank top wearing gym rat, I can say without any shame, like there's not a mountain in North America that I would even think twice about hunting. I'm a serial killer when it comes to these animals. I stalk them religiously. He's saying if you don't wear, you know, self-tanner, you're not going to be a good hunter. Am I a good hunter? No, I'm a terrible hunter. I'm one of the worst hunters ever because I'm very, very often do stupid stuff like that. And it gave me a gut check. You don't have to be a physique competitor on stage to be a good bow hunter. I'm just saying improve with what you already have.
Hey, this is Zac Griffith. You're listening to Living Country in the City, episode 16.
Y'all ready for your dose of flyover state spirit? Straight from the concrete jungle? Well, put down your latte and pull on your boots. It's time for Living Country in the City.
Thank you all for joining me for episode 16 of Living Country in the City. Living Country in the City is brought to you by Bowhunter Brotherhood. There's a connection that all of us feel, whether it's the moment you let that arrow fly to take the perfect big game animal, or that time in the morning when you first step outside your tent to take in the view. A love for the outdoors is a thread that ties all of us together, and that's what Bowhunter Brotherhood represents. Check out articles and videos from Bowhunter Brotherhood, as well as get 10% off all purchases from the Bowhunter Brotherhood store by visiting our partners page at livingcountryinthecity.com/partners. Now, a couple of quick items before we get started. I've just recently announced a huge giveaway, so if you're not following me on Instagram, head over there now. The winner is going to walk away with some great stuff, including a year's membership to elk101.com's University of Elk Hunting online course, a year membership to Hunt and Fool, product and gear from Mountain Ops, from Bowhunter Brotherhood, memberships to Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation and Backcountry Hunters and Anglers, and a ton more. But you have to be following me on Instagram to win. Now, this is a big push, so tell y'all's friends because I'm not picking a winner until I hit 2,000 followers. If you want to get all the details on how to enter, as well as a full list of prizes and some opportunities to get additional entries to win, head on over to livingcountryinthecity.com/2K. That is all the info you need to know. That's livingcountryinthecity.com/2K, the number 2 and the letter K. Also, right now, my good friend Jamie McCarthy is in the running to win the Hunt of a Lifetime through the Extreme Huntress competition. This is a competition that finds awesome female hunters in an effort to provide more role models for women who want to get into the outdoors and hunting. Now, here's where I need y'all's help. Jamie is an awesome huntress, so I want you to go over to livingcountryinthecity.com/vote-Jamie. That's VOTEJAMIE, all one word, and put in your vote for Jamie McCarthy. You'll need to check the box next to her name, click the vote button, and enter your email address. Now, here's the key. Y'all get a confirmation email, and you need to click on the link they send you in that email to finalize your vote. That's important. Your vote doesn't get counted otherwise. But voting for Extreme Huntress ends this month, May 2017. So y'all got to get over to livingcountryinthecity.com/vote-Jamie now and get in your votes for Jamie McCarthy. All right. So in honor of May being National Physical Fitness Month, and also pretending like I didn't just find that out the day I'm recording this podcast, I figured it would be the perfect time to talk fitness for hunting. And there's not many people out there better to talk to about hunting fitness than Zac Griffith. If y'all don't know Zac, this dude is a hunter, an outdoorsman, an absolute beast. This guy loves physical fitness and is pretty much guaranteed to be one of the toughest dudes on any mountain he's on. And he's always got some great tips for getting into shape for not just hunting season, but for the entire year. So, Zac, thank you so much for hopping on the call with me today.
Oh, thanks for the opportunity, man. I love to talk about this stuff.
So, really quick for those of my listeners who aren't as familiar with you, why don't you kind of just give me a quick background on kind of yourself and your history with hunting?
My history with hunting began like most, not most of us, a lot of us. I grew up, it was a culture in our family. We were rifle hunters. We'd hunt, one weekend a year in October and talk about it for the other, 51 weeks of the year. I was just cultivated at a very young age to just be obsessed with nature and hiking and hunting and shooting guns. And it's just, my dad just instilled that love into me. And then as I grew older and had more time and resources, I expanded and hunted other animals and with other weapons and in different areas. And, the common theme is that the more I do it, the more I just grow obsessed with it. And there's just nothing out there that compares in this world. You can make a lot of money, you can be successful, you can be happy, but when you're in the mountain, there's so much trial and so much introspection, and you literally like grow when you're hunting, and it's physically, mentally, emotionally. I mean, it's just a connection that's out there. And so not to get too philosophical, it's just very rewarding and fulfilling to do it. And then I've learned, because I'm obsessed with lifting weights and training and dieting and nutrition and all that stuff, that there is a correlation between taking care of your body and how well you can get around and navigate on the mountain. And so my platform, my social media motivator has always been to share what I'm passionate about, and kind of with no filter. I guess that gets me in trouble sometimes, but not that I'm crude or inappropriate. I'm just out there, I mean, if you visualize a flat brim, rap music, tank top wearing gym rat, and I'm a bow hunter and I'm affiliated with a bunch of big bow and outdoor companies. So I'm definitely not, I guess I'm going against the grain, but it's just who I am. And it's not really something I'm ashamed of or anything like that. And I feel like it kind of opens doors for a lot of guys that may think, well, I'm an inner city guy, or it's not really, I'm not a hunter, I'm not a redneck, et cetera. Like, hunting has nothing to do with where you're from or what you're about. It's once we're on the mountain, we're all on the same team. So I've tried to put that out there, and I've taken a ton of flack as a result, but it was expected. So,
well, that's one of the things, like I mentioned earlier, that my whole podcast is about. It's, it's not about, to be a hunter, to be an outdoorsman, you don't have to have grown up in Montana or in the South or in these places that are super, very stereotypically associated with hunting. I'm straight from Los Angeles, and this is a passion of mine. So it's good to hear that perspective coming from other people. I actually talked with one of my first few podcasts was with a group out of New York called Bowhunter Brotherhood, and their whole thing is they're New York guys, and they still love to hunt and fish, and they've got some fantastic gear actually that is not totally embarrassing to wear around the city on any given day. But
that's nice.
But yeah, so our subject for the day is really fitness for hunting, and I mean, I'm gonna ask, why do I need to be in shape to go hunting? Really, what benefits does being fit give me when I go out hunting?
Well, the way I see it is this: you got 2 or 3 months a year to hunt. You got 8 or 9 months or 10 months to prepare and relish and contemplate and dream about hunting. So my take is this: even if you're not a gym rat, why would you not want to be in shape so that when you do get 2 months, you're capitalizing on that opportunity with having a body and a mind and a physique that's prepared to not only hunt, but also to not be limited by, your physical capacity to get around. I mean, I can say without any shame, like, there's not a mountain in North America that I would even think twice about hunting. I don't care where it is. I'll pack my gear, I'll prepare, and I'll get in there, and it's never even an issue for me. So, the answer to your question is, I feel like your hunts are better. They're funner. They're more fulfilling. Your recovery is faster. You're going to be more successful generally if you are physically prepared through physical fitness and diet, nutrition, well in advance of the hunts.
Well, I'll tell you, I'm getting prepared to go on my first elk hunt, my first backcountry hunt, and I've been working, I've been training, but I'll admit, I look and I'm reviewing some of these units in Idaho, and that's not all of that is exactly flat land, and I'll look at some and I'll be like, oh man, that's gonna be am I going to be able to physically handle that? And to get to the point where that's not even a consideration anymore, where it's like, where I just have the confidence in my own physical abilities to say, oh yeah, that's not even a consideration, then, would be an awesome place to be.
Yeah. One issue I've run into is with my delivery of my content and my opinions and my version or my opinions of things, is that I somehow relay this sentiment that if you're not shredded, you can't kill stuff. And that's not what I don't advocate that. I don't believe that. I don't prescribe it. That's not even in it doesn't even cross my mind. So you got to realize, like, you don't have to be a physique competitor on stage to be a good bow hunter. I'm just saying, improve with what you already have. Why would you not improve? Like, improving is good for everybody. Everyone needs to improve. We're all at different levels. It's not a competition. So you and your elk hunt and your prep for it has nothing to do with me and my goals in fitness and hunting. And as long as we're both working towards improving, how is that not, like, awesome? You know what I mean? Like, it's very strange how people try to take away from it and try to decipher these underlying themes, like, oh, he's saying if you don't wear, self-tanner, you're not gonna be a good hunter. I killed this deer and I'm not in shape, whatever. That's fine. But I know from my personal experience that the years that I've done more cardio, that I've trained more cardiovascularly, like I used to do triathlons and stuff, those were some badass hunting seasons because I was light and agile and I could go. And there's nothing like saying, what's in that next basin? I wonder what's over the top of that hill. I wonder what's around the backside. I wonder if that buck went into that drainage, et cetera, and being able to just go without saying, man, I don't think I can make that hike today, or that would take me too long, or whatever. At some level, like, you've got to be able to get around up there. And if you're prepared, you're going to be more successful. The harder I work, the luckier I get with hunting. I feel like the more opportunities you can put in your lap, the more chances you have to not screw everything up and actually connect on an animal. And you've got to be physically prepared to open those doors, period.
So, we understand the importance now just of being physically fit for a hunt. It opens these opportunities. It helps you make the most of each hunt, that short period of the year where we do get to be out and hunting in the backcountry. But, I also get a lot of people that say, you don't need to do all this stuff. You don't need to run. You don't need to lift weights. What you need to do is just put on a pack and go for a hike. What's your thoughts on that?
Okay. So I hike 3 days a week. I hike minimum of 4 miles a trip, and there's 2,000 to 5,000 vertical feet. I'm hiking in rugged terrain. So I absolutely agree 1,000% with that statement. No substitute for hiking with a heavy backpack, because you're actually in the field applying that. Now, that's me who lives in Salt Lake City, Utah. I'm surrounded in 360 degrees by 10 to 12,000 foot peaks. I can hike any day of the week and be home and to work by 7:30 in the morning. Most guys don't have access to mountains, or if they do, it's not convenient to go 3 days a week before work. So for those guys, which I feel is the vast majority, you have to, at some level, train or go to a gym or use a treadmill, or, like you said, run or bike. They're not substitutes per se, but they are substitutes. They're not a dollar for dollar exchange. They're the best that you have to work with. And you can synthesize a lot of the stuff by simulate a lot of the stuff by, like, wearing a pack on a treadmill or doing heavy lunges and stuff like that to kind of replicate those movements that come from the mountain. But yeah, absolutely nothing is going to top just hiking around in the steep, rugged terrain. And I think that's where a lot of guys fall into this trap again. You can't take for granted that you have a mountain in your backyard and that's how you're supposed to do it. All of us know that we would be hiking the mountain if we had access to it. It's just some of us urban guys, you don't have that proximity. And so it's not convenient. That doesn't mean you shouldn't be on a treadmill 5 days a week, so that's my take on it.
Now, and I'm lucky enough, I'm right in the middle of Hollywood. And so right behind me, there's Hollywood Hills. So I may not I may not exactly be hiking up a mountain, but at least I can, throw on a pack and I get a little bit of incline there and get that good burn in my legs. But so talking about, I know I need to train. I know I can hike with a pack, but I need to supplement this. What's important when you're going to the gym? What do I want to start focusing on? What things do I want to work on? Do I want to be going heavy? Do I want to be going light? Where do I want to go? How do I start?
It's relative to the individual. I mean, ultimately, like, are you 40% body fat? Are you 30? Are you 20? Are you 25? Are you 35 years old? Are you 45 years old? A lot of variables, but I'm going to speak very generally here. I'm assuming most guys are a little bit overweight and a little bit under muscular developed. So I would do a combination of both. I would do functional exercises that are going to engage and grow muscle, but also improve cardiovascular performance. So stuff like lunges, body weight exercises, push-ups, pull-ups, stair climbers, squats. All of these things are going to replicate, again, mountain movements, and they're going to directly correlate to mountain performance. Like, you got to know that if you're going to be climbing mountains, you probably ought to work on your legs. You got to work on high knee steps. You got to do step ups on boxes. You got to do lunges. You got to do lateral lunges to work on building connective tissue and ankle joints and knee joints, and just functional workouts that are going to, again, directly correlate to your performance. If you want to be a bodybuilder, you're going to train differently than a guy that wants to be a hunter. I try to marry the two and try to stay in, like, not bodybuilding size, but more just conditioning, and keep a physique that looks good with my shirt off on the beach, but also have the muscles that are functional and useful for hunting. But for most guys in general, I'm thinking you're going to want to lose body fat and build a little bit of muscle and increase your cardio. And there's a ton of resources. I have a website that's built around training to hunt. I have workout programs. I have cardio programs, and they're for free. They're just on YouTube. It's just content that I've shared because I had a lot of guys ask about it, and I figured to make a video to respond. And I think once you get to there, you can kind of adapt and tweak stuff to your own liking and say, wow, I really enjoyed doing that. I'm going to do it more. I don't really like that. I'm not going to do it as much. But at the end of the day, it is extremely subjective. Like, each person has a different deck of cards they're dealt, and also different goals on where they want to get them. And so you kind of have to maybe just trial and error, but also reach out to resources and get some more direction.
Well, and I've noticed that's definitely one thing that is not lacking, especially nowadays in the hunting community, is those resources for training to hunt.
Yeah, it's funny. I'll get countless messages a day asking me for programs and what do I do for this. And I literally cut and paste a YouTube video that I made 3 years ago that answers their question, because all content is available online. You got to learn to Google stuff and YouTube. But there's YouTube videos for everything. You just type in your question. How do I get in shape to hunt? Watch how many YouTube videos will pop up. There's probably 40, and they're all very, very real and applicable and functional. So just start digesting the information, applying it to your life. Don't overthink it. It's very simple. What you do that's hard becomes easier with time and repetition. And so whether it's dieting, whether it's training, whether it's cardio, it's probably going to be a pain in the ass to start. But anything of consequence in life usually is. And the more you do it, the more you'll learn to appreciate it. You'll see results, and you'll be continuously, more and more and more motivated, because the results, lead you to want it more. And so just get going, just jump in. I think a lot of guys, it's like they compare themselves to other people, and they're like, oh man, I could never get where he's at. Well, who cares? Where are you at? Where are you going to be tomorrow? That's all that matters.
Only person you're competing against is yourself with this, with fitness, with hunting, with all of this. People always say that to me, you're not that big, or you're not that ripped. And I'm like, hey, you should have seen me 10 years ago, dog. Like, I've come a long ways. So, and the guys that are saying that are trolls. It's not like
someone that actually is sincerely trying to critique me. I'm not at that level. I'm not trying to be. I'm just trying to improve. I want to feel good, and I want to be able to just go anywhere I want, you know?
That's the right attitude to have. There's always going to be people that are going to find something to criticize you about. There, you know, it's just, you know what? Have fun. Waste your energy on talking crap. And me, on the other hand, I'll be spending my time doing my best to make a better version of myself. So,
100%, man. That's a great sum up of it. Nice summary.
So, you know, a big portion of fitness, it isn't just your time hiking with your pack. It isn't just your time, you know, on the machines or on the weights at the gym. It's also your diet. That's the one. I mean, I've always struggled with working out, but you know, it was something I could eventually convince myself to do. But diet was the big thing for me, as I'm just not at all capable of managing my diet, and so that's been a huge struggle for me. And I know you're a big proponent of the keto diet, right?
Yeah.
Maybe you could talk just a little bit about that. You know, give a quick explanation for those who may not fully understand what that is.
Well, as alien and strange as it may seem, I've actually enjoyed dieting for the last 20 years. I've loved using my body as an experiment to try different combinations of foods, different macronutrient breakdowns, different diet programs, different workout programs. I like trying them out and seeing how my body reacts and tweaking it accordingly. I think it's fascinating, and I just love it. So I've tried every diet out there. I've read every book. I've watched every video. I've bought the P90X stuff. I've done all the CrossFit programs. I mean, I just try them all because I like to see, you know, how my body reacts to it. And so the last few years and the last 10 years, I've done some competitive bodybuilding competitions and stuff. And I subscribed to the chicken, rice, and broccoli diet, where you just have no flavor, cut carbs to cut fat, keep protein high. Fat should be almost, you know, non-existent from your diet, or very small amounts of it. And what I found is I can get lean, but I lose a lot of muscle, and I'm stressed out, and I'm an irritable, cranky while I'm dieting. And that's not conducive to being a good fat husband, father, employee. You know, it's just, you can't exist in this world while your body is literally starving itself to death. And that's what I never liked about it. I like being lean. I like being able to take my shirt off at the beach and having abs. And that's always been important to me for whatever reason, but getting there is a pain. So, again, I'm always looking for that magic diet. Well, the keto diet, or the ketogenic diet, is something I stumbled on about 4 months ago. And the guy that was advocating it is absolutely shredded, looks amazing. He's actually a fitness competitor, like world level, like top tier. And this guy starts talking about my appetite is satiated. And all I do to get there is I've eliminated carbs from my diet. I keep protein moderate, and I eat a pile of fats. And he starts going through his diet of cheese and bacon and avocados and coconut oil and nuts and seeds and greens and chicken and salmon. And I'm like, dude, I eat all that stuff anyways. The common denominator, though, was there's no carbohydrates, because with ketosis, what you're basically doing is you're teaching your body to wean away from glucose and carbohydrates as an energy source and turn to fats that are metabolized in your liver into what are called ketone bodies. And the ketone body is the new fuel source. So it's almost like the sugar molecule, except for we don't have sugar. Sugar has all sorts of detrimental effects to your stamina, to your moods, to your blood sugar, to body fat storage, etc. The keto diet in general teaches that your body runs more efficiently, you burn fat more efficiently, your brain thrives on high fats, your hormone levels are higher because hormones are comprised of fat, cholesterols, and fats. I mean, on paper, the thing looks absolutely amazing. And who doesn't want to go on a diet where they can eat cheese and bacon with their broccoli and not feel like you're limited? I'll tell you right now, and I don't know how deep you want to go into it. When you become once you cut carbs out of your diet, you're going to crash. You're going to feel like dog shit for 3 or 4 days because your body, it's like you're going through a relapse. You're a drug addict, and we're going to pull you away from that narcotic. And that narcotic is sugar. And don't think that at some level sugar is not addicting and there's dopamine connections. I mean, sugar is a drug, 100%. We crave it like we would crave a drug. Once you break that barrier and your body says, okay, sugar is no longer coming in the mouth, it doesn't exist anymore. What do we do to fuel our energy, fuel our exercise, fuel our function? Then it turns to the ketones and starts processing fat. When that happens, you feel absolutely amazing. And it's indescribable unless you've done it. The way your brain works, the way you sleep, your digestion, your skin clears up. There's so many like fascinating side effects that come from this. I've made YouTube videos, probably 50 videos in 2.5 months about keto, just to relay all these experiences. Athletic performance is amazing because remember, fat molecules are 9 calories per gram. Carbs and protein are 4. You don't have to eat as much quantity to get double the amount of nutrient density. And so fats make way more sense to me as a hunter because I don't have to pack as much food. I just switch the type of food that has double the energy crammed into it. I don't have to eat as often. I can go further, and your body actually thrives endurance training wise on fats. It's amazing how well you do with it. It's just been a trial and error thing for me. I've lost a ton of weight on purpose. I always do a cut in the spring. I've been doing a keto cut right now and obviously vlogging it on YouTube and learning as I go. But in the meantime, like I'm absolutely scratching my head every time I eat my breakfast or my bacon or whatever. And I'm just like, I can't believe I'm getting shredded eating these types of foods, but it's legit. And it's actually, I believe, going to be a Atkins diet on steroids. Like, I think it's going to be huge for the next few years. I really do.
That sounds like the dream diet for me. That's the bacon, eggs, and avocado are like my morning. I feel like, honestly, I've just been naturally sort of lending myself to that kind of diet anyways. I've been trying to cut way back on the carbs, and I'm such a sugar fiend between even just the processed stuff and candy and whatnot, and then fruit. That's definitely difficult. And this week I actually I've been pretty good, but then this week I grabbed a handful of M&Ms, and it was just like giving a needle to a heroin fiend, I'm sure. But
sure, yeah, you relapse. Well, here's the thing. If you look at, let's say humans have been around, I know for millions of years, but let's just say even 10,000 years. Until the last 200 years, most humans were out gathering food. They were picking up nuts and seeds. They were killing animals. They were eating the animal flesh. They weren't cultivating crops per se. I mean, there's populations that have, and there's also fruits readily available around the equator and stuff. But like in our area where I live in Utah, 200 years ago, there was nothing to eat other than animals and some roots and nuts and things like that. And I mean, your body, as a human being, we've adapted to eat a certain way. And in the last few hundred years, we've been adding these artificials, these carbohydrates, these fruits and seasonal things that normally never existed in our diet. And that's why there's this huge this onset of diabetes and weight gain and all sorts of toxins and crap. So the keto diet actually is very logical because it's pretty much what humans have been eating since they popped up. So it makes sense that your body would be more efficient with it because it's kind of our diet that we've adapted to eat.
So now, there you kind of touched on a little bit, but there's definitely going to be a bit of a transition time. Say you've been trying different diets, whatever it may be, but you're used to having these carbs. I'm sure it's somewhat individual to people, but what kind of transition time do you think you'd typically see when you're moving from, eating a lot of these fruits and carbs and stuff, then to trying to switch over to something like keto?
Well, your body stores its energy in a form of what's called glycogen, and it's stored intramuscularly in your muscle tissue and also in your liver. For the average person who doesn't do anything, that just sits around, it might take them a week or two to burn through their glycogen stores and basically force their body
to seek another energy alternative, which is the fats. If you're active and you're training and you're doing cardio and you're hiking like me, I was in full blown ketosis in 3 days because my body crashed the second day. It's like, whoa, where's the carbs? What are you doing? What are we supposed to run on? And I had what's called the keto flu. You feel horrible. You're completely dehydrated. You're depleted of minerals. You lose a ton of water when you flush carbs because carbohydrates actually increase water storage inside the muscle tissue. So when you bump those carbs, the glycogen out of the muscles, you lose water weight. So most people lose 5% of their body weight just in water in the first 2-3 days. Well, when you lose water at that level, you also lose sodium, potassium, magnesium, electrolytes, just micronutrients that you need that normally are just packed away. You're flushing them. So a lot of byproducts is headaches and nausea and stuff like that. And so one of the fascinating things about keto is you're not limited on your salt intake. I literally eat 5 to 7 grams of salt a day, which as a bodybuilder, like that's obscene. Like most guys will run around 2 to 3 grams, but you need salt when you're in keto. You go to the bathroom a lot more. You don't hold water. So that got rid of all my flu symptoms. The salt, I drink chicken broth. I eat 2 avocados every day for the potassium. And I eat a ton of greens like spinach and kale and things like that to not only assist in digestion, but they're nutrient rich. They're packed with vitamin D, A, B, iron, everything. So, again, the more you work out, the more you expand energy, and the more you deplete those glycogen stores, the faster your body will flip over. So I do diet coaching, and every guy that I have that jumps on keto, I'm like, do an hour of cardio post workout for this week. I want you to just burn all that sugar out of your body, and they'll go into ketosis in 3 or 4 days because you have to. Your body doesn't have a choice. It's got to run on energy, and there's no more carbs. It's going to flip the switch.
Okay, well, on that note, let's take a quick moment to hear a word from one of my partners. Hey y'all, we all know that physical fitness is of paramount importance as backcountry hunters, but if y'all are anything like me and can find yourself getting discouraged at not seeing the results or improvement you wanted, not having the energy to really go at it, or just feeling so dang sore after a workout or hike that it takes you a week to recover, I'm going to recommend that you do the same thing as me and give Mountain Ops a try. I'm the first one to admit that I was super skeptical when it came to supplements, but after talking with experts that I trust and admire, hunters, personal trainers, as well as comparing quite a few of the hundreds of products on the market, I went with Mountain Ops, and I'm seeing a world of difference when it comes to my results and how I feel. Mountain Ops has a huge product lineup that'll help you with anything you could want to target. Pre-workout, meal replacement, hydration, recovery, energy boost, even anti-inflammatories and high-altitude performance. They can help you find the right combos if you want to reach your fitness goals and go longer and further in the backcountry, which just might be the difference between elk steaks and tag soup. Additionally, through Mountain Ops Operation Conquer Hunger, with each and every purchase you make, Mountain Ops will help provide a nutritious meal to a child in need. If you want that extra boost to help you start crushing your fitness goals, check out Mountain Ops on our partners page at livingcountryinthecity.com/partners. Okay, so we talked a little bit about working out. We talked about diet. So for somebody starting to get in once again to fitness, what would you recommend as far as like their daily diet, how to get started?
Again, it's relative, man. You're working with so many variables. You're working with age, sex, hormone levels, body fat, body composition, output, training, goals, all that stuff. I recommend to anyone that really wants to get results to go hire a nutritionist or a personal trainer. I just do. They're all going to teach you different things, and they're all going to contradict each other. But at the end of the day, like I've said it before, your journey is an individual, subjective thing. You personally have to figure it all out for yourself. So why would you not start just gathering that info? And a great resource is to have an actual body with a pulse that can respond to you and help you kind of just navigate through it all, because it's confusing as hell. It really is. And I could recommend going on YouTube accessing a lot of that content, that's fine, but you're going to find yourself overwhelmed. You're going to be disorganized. You're probably going to not have a lot of direction as far as, like where to go with it or what's this mean, So I think it's smart to just bounce off of somebody, even if it's just for a few months. Now, you don't have to hire someone necessarily. You might find a friend or someone at the gym that knows what they're doing, that's more than willing to help, a family member, et cetera. There's a lot of people that are very knowledgeable that don't charge for their services. But at the end of the day, like, you're going to need a living resource just to get started, because there's just a lot of variables. And, for me to give a cookie cutter program, I think it'd be kind of irresponsible, like there's too many factors, just way too many factors.
That honestly mirrors a lot of when I talk to people on this podcast, just about anything to do with hunting, whether, it's fitness or just learning about hunting. That's one of the first things they tell me is just in general is find someone that knows what they're doing, find a mentor. And in this case, maybe a trainer or a nutritionist, find an expert and pick their brain as much as you possibly can. And that's one of the things I love about doing this podcast is, I get the chance to sit down with guys like you and just all these fantastic people that I admire and respect, and I get to learn firsthand. And however much I do like to share this information with everyone, call my reasons a little bit selfish behind it. It gives me an excuse to grab people's attention for half an hour, 45 minutes, and ask all the questions I want to learn about.
No, that's a great point. I mean, some of the wealthiest, most successful people in my life, they've always had the common theme of find someone that's doing it better than you and copy them. Why would you go out and reinvent the wheel? I go to a rich guy if I want to get rich. When I was in real estate finance in college, I remember one of the kids, and this is like an upper division, this is a higher graduate level class. And I remember our teachers up there going through all these cap returns and ROIs and all these formulas. And some kid is this total smart ass, but so funny. He raises his hand. And he's like, Dr. Blah, blah, blah. How many rental properties do you own? Oh, I don't own rentals. I teach school. And the kid just scratched his head, and I'll never forget that. That was almost 20 years ago. And I can remember, like, why am I learning how to buy and sell rental properties from a guy that doesn't even own them? He's just regurgitating information out of the book. I want to go find a real estate mogul that's rich, that drives a Bentley or a Rover or something that knows what's up, and that's what I did. Like, when I jumped into the real estate side of things, I went to the guys that were playing the game. They weren't talking about it, And I feel like it's the same thing with anything in consequence of life. You want to get shredded, go talk to a guy that's shredded. If he's an asshole, go find another one. There's going to be someone out there that's humble and friendly, and they'll give you the info, because the bottom line is, dude, like, I love sharing things that make me happy because it makes me happier. You know what I mean? You just said selfish motivators for doing these podcasts. Hey, dude, I totally feel what you're saying there, because I love to help people get in shape. I love to see them smile. I love to see them send me a picture of their buck they shot at 10,000 feet because they worked their tail off all year. It's extremely fulfilling. I don't get compensated for that. It's just cool. It's like there's more to life, And so, again, just find someone that knows what they're doing and be a sponge. Be humble. Just ask questions and then shut up and listen. And you'd be surprised how much other people can, save you as far as time and mistakes and errors by saying, don't go this way, do this, don't do this, because they learned from experience or possibly from someone else. And it's kind of like a perpetual education where you're constantly sharing your experiences with others and they're passing it on, et cetera, No,
absolutely. I can't have, I feel like this fitness discussion without at least talking supplements. And I know for some people I feel like recently it's become a more accepted thing, but I know a lot of people are super critical of taking supplements. They feel like it does more harm than good. I'm of the opinion that I feel like they help me out quite a bit, but I'd love to hear some of your thoughts on that.
Well, first of all, supplements, the name implies it all. They are a supplement. They're an extra. They're an addition to. They're addition to a healthy diet of whole foods. So supplements alone are not going to do anything for anyone. I could take all the protein powder and creatine and pre-workout and sit on my ass. I'm not going to grow. I'm not going to get shredded. Vice versa. I can take hiking formulas and all this stuff. And if I don't hike, it's not going to benefit me. But if I eat a clean diet and I exercise, supplements absolutely will improve performance, improve my stamina, and my motivation. They'll improve recovery. And there's a reason there's a market for them, is because they actually work. Now, are there garbage supplements out there? Absolutely. How do you know? Try them. Try them all. I bought everything. I've bought them at Costco. I bought them at bodybuilding.com. I've used different supplements in the hunting community. I work with Mountain Ops now as a partner. There's a lot of great supplement companies out there that use very similar formulations, that use very similar products. But at the end of the day, they're all going to do similar types of things. So I'm a huge believer in supplements. I take them religiously on a daily basis. I take them for training. I take them for recovery. I take them for performance on the mountain. But at the end of the day, like I said, you do have to still eat a healthy, balanced diet of whole foods, because real food is what your body needs first, then exercise, then supplementation. And it's got to be in that order. You're not going to put the supplements before the food or before the exercise. You're going to eat good. You're going to rest adequately. You're going to train, and you're going to supplement. And that's how they work. And any supplement company that says otherwise, they're just lying to you, because most of them don't claim to do anything more than improve or enhance as a supplementation to whatever platform you have. You know what I mean?
I definitely think, yeah, that's the important thing to remember. And I know sometimes I'll get busy and it's, I'll want to just, whatever, just shake up some ammo and, make my protein shake and call that a meal. When I need to realize, okay, this is not a full replacement for, for eating real food. And it's definitely, it's an easy trap to fall into. Cause I know I struggle with that. As I said, I already have trouble maintaining a good diet. And when something is as just easy as rattling a shaker bottle for a while and calling it lunch, it's easy to not slip into that.
Well, the good thing about Mountain Ops and the ammo and stuff is it's a meal replacement. It's not a 6 meal a day diet. It's just it's a supplement. So like, for example, I'm sure you don't always eat ammo all your meals. It's a matter of getting your nutrition in a nice smaller packet in general. And first of all, the ingredients in there are all healthy and whole and natural. So it's not like toxic to take that stuff in, but in general, you're going to want to eat a balanced, whole foods. And that Mountain Ops here and there is a great way to supplement again what you're eating, but it's never going to substitute an entire diet. You've got to have whole grains and, whatever your platform of dieting is, but I mean, just whole foods for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, can you share like any stories where, this may sound kind of cheesy, but your physical fitness is really what ended up allowing you to take this animal? Like if you hadn't been as prepared physically, the hunt wouldn't have worked out, or at least you wouldn't have taken that specific animal or anything like that.
Yeah, the answer is not going to be a single time, because it's every single time I hunt. People don't realize I hunt 100 days a year minimum. I probably kill 3 to 5 animals. So in order to kill 3 to 5, and I kill trophy animals. I have no problems admitting that. I eat every ounce of the flesh, but I'm after a older age class. I'm looking for the downhill old warrior that's out of the gene pool, that's lived his life. That's the ultimate conservation to me, is taking the mature animals out of the herd so the younger ones can grow and thrive and flourish. But yeah, in order to hunt 100 days a year in the country I hunt, you have to be in shape. And in order to harvest animals consistently, you have to hunt a lot. And so there's not one time, because it happens to me hundreds and hundreds of times a year, where because I'm able to go one more ridge, because I'm able to get to that saddle before the deer crest it or before the sun goes down, because I'm ready and prepared, because I have been there and done that, I'm able to accomplish things that I wouldn't have if I hadn't. Am I a good hunter? No, I'm a terrible hunter. I'm one of the worst hunters ever, but I go a lot more than other people, and I don't quit. I'm not limited by my skills. You know, there's guys that could get it done in 3 days, what I take 10 days to do. But guess what? At the end of the day, we both killed the deer. 3 days or 10 days, you still have the same reward. And I'm one of those, I'm the latter. I'm the guy that takes longer, takes more swings, but I still score the runs and I still connect with those animals. And even if I don't, I still have fulfilling experiences, and I don't quantify my success by animals. I just went throughout the process. I'm enjoying it. So, being in shape it's going to help you every day or on the hill in limitless ways.
So I do want to bring up one thing, and I hope you don't mind, but I do want to ask about, not too long ago, you released the video, you were out shed hunting and you cut your arm. That was, I was recently watching that, and I watched your follow-up video, and I just wanted to say, I really was able to appreciate your thoughts on that, and I really admire that you released that video. I know you got a lot of flack for it from people, but I really wanted to say I admire you releasing that video, because not everyone will admit to, I don't even want to call it a failure necessarily, but their mistakes. And I feel like you really owned up to that one. And that was it was a really admirable thing you put out there.
I appreciate that, man. That was my intention, was to just remind people to slow down and to be prepared. That's it. There was no motivator behind that. It was, for a guy like me, and, I'll probably sound arrogant for saying this, but I know a handful of people on this earth that I feel could out-hike me or outwork me in the gym. And it's a fact. So of the masses of people that, criticize or question what happened, I could give two. I don't care. They don't hunt where I hunt. They don't hunt with me. They don't know what they're not me. They weren't there. And for them to judge from a keyboard is absolute nonsense to me. I was 4 miles from my vehicle, which is almost 4 hours of hiking. Didn't take my pack because I wanted to go light, because I was cocky and figured I could get all the way to the top of a 10,500 foot ridge system to find these sheds that I'd spotted the week before. And I just one stupid decision after another led to a really serious, life-threatening case. And, one thing that a lot of people missed from the story was, I cut my arm, and that's fine. I lost 2 units of blood. But what hurt me the most and what messed me up the most was my leg got crushed. My thigh, the rock landed on my thigh. So I'm 200 pounds. Like, to walk 3.5, 4 miles down 3,000 vertical rocky slopes with one leg and no water and no jacket and an armful of stupid sheds that I should have just left up there, but I was so out of my mind I carried them. My body just said, to hell with this, and shut down. It just shut down. I was passing out. I was short on blood. I was dehydrated again. I was cold, pre-hypothermic. It was I just did a bunch of bonehead bozo stuff that could happen to any one of us at any given time. And considering how often I hike that country and how often I'm up there, I mean, it's amazing to me it hasn't happened sooner, because I'm very, very often do stupid stuff like that. And it gave me a gut check. And I have no problem admitting that I made a mistake. And I have no problem admitting that I could have prepared and prevented it. And if it helps one guy down the road to just, get that reality check and, reset their bearings and recheck their pack and double, think things through a little more, then it was a mission accomplished. Now, did I have to wade through a bunch of bullshit online with a bunch of trolls who have nothing better to do than to follow me around and criticize me? But yeah, I did. I knew it was coming. But the vast majority of my support system and followers and friends, literally, I would say 99.9% of people said, "Hey, dude, I'm glad you're okay, because I care about you."
And I'm glad that you shared that, because it reminded me that I need to get my stuff together as well. And that was the whole purpose,
Mm-hmm.
So it was mission accomplished, 100%.
Fitness can make you the most capable person on the mountain, but nothing is going to make you invincible. And it's a reminder all of us need, and it's just very valuable, I think, to everyone that you shared that.
Thanks, man.
No, of course. And so what are you excited for this year? What should we be keeping an eye out for coming from Zac? What's coming up from you?
I've got, I do the application. So I apply for hunts in every state. I've been applying for hunts in every state for 20 years. I've killed some awesome animals by waiting my turn and playing the point systems. And I've got applications out for every species in every state imaginable. And they're going to start popping up on the board to see what the fall entails. I don't know what tags I have yet, because I haven't seen the draw results. But I am going to Alaska next week to hunt black bears with my wife. We're going to both hunt bears, spring bears in near Fairbanks. So that'll be fun. It'll be an archery hunt. And then I've got scouting season. I mean, I'm picking up sheds still, and I'm literally putting up my cameras on the way out in those high country basins to start watching the bucks and their horn development and the progression. I'm a serial killer when it comes to these animals. I stalk them religiously. I have names for all these bucks. I watch them all spring and summer. I try to kill them in the fall, and then I pick up their horns in the spring. I mean, it's just a residual every single year, just repeat the process. So I'm up there looking for their sheds, and I'm putting up cameras to watch them grow on the new horns that I'm going to chase this year. So it's going to be a busy summer as always, but I love doing it, and I love being up there. And my bow won't even come with me until August, and I'm sure I'll make 30 or 40 trips into that same country until then.
Well, as we're winding down on time here, one last final thought. Do you have any words of encouragement for folks like myself that may be in the city and may feel a little overwhelmed by trying to get out and do this stuff and hunt, or even just possibly new hunters who are thinking like, I love the idea of hunting. I love the outdoors, but I just am intimidated by it. It's a lot of work, a lot of stuff to learn, a lot of stuff to do. What would you say to those folks?
Luckily with Instagram and social media and YouTube, I think you can get a lot of your fix just online through daily posts and stuff. There's great community of hunters that share their successes and their experiences. What that provides for guys that don't have maybe the access or the know-how is they have a resource where they can reach out to people that are doing it and get information on where to start. I get several messages a day. Hey man, I'd like to hunt elk in the West one day. What do I do to prepare? And I'll give them some basic information, and they have to run with it from there. I'm not going to hold their hand and take them to my spots, but you're going to have to learn. The way most of us do is just getting out there and planning a couple trips and saying this might take 3 or 4 years, but every year I'm going to go out in September and I'm going to learn how to hunt elk and I'm going to do it. And I think a lot of guys get frustrated when that's my response, because they kind of want a little bit easier in, but the bottom line is all of us have had to go through that type, of development and growth in some way. So that would be my recommendation, is just get involved with the hunting community, get involved with the social media aspects of it, start communicating with people, start finding like-minded individuals in your area that you can collaborate with, you can train with, you can shoot your bows with, and plan hunts with. I mean, it's a brotherhood. It's a fellowship. It's a team. We're all on the same path, same goal to just enjoy ourselves out there. So most hunters you'll find are very humble and approachable and willing to share information, especially to guys that are new to the sport and want to expand.
No, I appreciate that very much. And, I think the hunting community is one of the most honestly generous groups of people. Like you said, I'm not going to show you my exact spot, but, everyone that I've reached out to, I know has been super helpful, super supportive, always willing to kind of go that extra mile to introduce you to someone or point you towards resources that will help you with that. But so I just want to say thank you so much, Zac, for hopping on the show, taking time to share your experience and advice with my listeners. I appreciate it very much.
No, thank you for the invite, and it was really fun. This is, like I said, I live for this crap. So anytime, I'd love to be back on, and I appreciate you for extending the invitation.
All right, y'all, that'll do it for episode 16 of Living Country in the City. If you want to get those fitness tips and check out all the great things Zac is putting out there, get all his social links on our show notes page at livingcountryinthecity.com/16. Don't forget, give me a follow on Instagram and check out the huge prize package you could win by visiting livingcountryinthecity.com/2K. That's the number 2 and the letter K. Make sure you don't miss out on any of my new episodes by subscribing on your favorite podcast platform, and if y'all like the show, give it a good rating and review. But in the meantime, stay country, y'all.
Thank y'all for listening to Living Country in the City. Get show notes and check out the blog, product reviews, events, and more at livingcountryinthecity.com.